Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis, with me, Mark. And I'm joined today by Sean D. Standfast, who looks very different, and he's disguised as Jim from Mystery and Mayhem.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? How are you, Mark?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So no Sean today, then.
I don't know. I did ask him. I did forget to send him the link, but I did send it, I don't know, about 15 minutes ago.
Oh,
But I know he's been up and down, so, maybe he's forgot because I asked him a couple of days ago. I didn't actually remind him, so maybe that's my fault as well. But yeah, so we will see. He might pop in because I know he never gets. I suppose I could message him, but he never gets the notifications that these things are
well,
happening. See,
I,
so,
I I turn my notifications on Voxer off because they don't really give you any. Like it'll chime in the middle of the night.
yeah,
So I have to make sure when I go on my phone that I go on my Voxer to make sure I'm not missing any messages because I have the notifications turned off.
hmm
So, and then if you forget, I guess you're just out of luck.
but you have to turn off some of these notifications. I have.
Oh,
It's insane if you don't. That's the thing. It really is the amount of stuff you get. I somehow turned off audible notifications from things like Voxer. So sometimes
yeah.
I'm surprised when I look at my phone and there is a message. I'm like, oh, okay, right. When it's turned on. But like WhatsApp and stuff, I still get audible ones, I suppose. So
Do you ever notice though with your phone, when you want to sit and read a book and you put your phone in the other room and then
mhm.
you'll be sitting there for 5 minutes reading a book and then it always chimes. It always attracts your attention.
Yeah,
I swear it's like, and it doesn't even have to be a notification from a person. It could be like your phone telling you, oh, you have apps that have to go into deep sleep or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. It's
It's
annoying. The
Oh,
word,
and I swear they do that on purpose just to get you to get the phone in your hand.
yeah, yeah. It's like, come get me, come get me. Yeah,
Yeah,
put me down. But I have to say, most of the time, my phone's on silent. Yeah, so
yeah,
because I'm used to it with being on silent at school and whatnot. So I
yeah.
tend to just leave it there, and it is usually by my side. I see Sean didn't even know. Oh, okay, weird. So he doesn't answer the question though. He says, "I didn't know you were going live." Well, are you coming or not? It's weird,
Go
isn't
on,
it? Last
go
week,
on, Sean.
I don't know. Last week I was blinded by the sun, and this week it's getting darker. So I'll put a bit of light on. Um, no, it can be very frustrating. All these notifications and things. We got a couple of comments. You've already got a like from me simply for the a little pre-live cameo.
Yeah,
Of bring it back earlier.
yeah. That was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I didn't. I was trying to make a new one, but I didn't get round to it today. But yeah, it's nice to have something on there, I guess. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, hey, Summer, good to see you.
Oh, I gotta shut my window. Hold on.
Well, luckily, Summer, you were notified about the live, unless you just remembered. So yeah, I
Hi,
wondered
Summer.
because when I heard that noise from you at first, I thought, "Oh my god, why is Elvis crying?" Because it sounds like a dog, a little bit
No,
like.
we're in an apartment and we look out on some houses. And
Uh-huh.
actually, both houses behind us are they worked on the fence last week, and now the house beside it they're doing some kind of work there. So, yeah, I was kind of hoping they wouldn't be working today because I want the window open. But oh well, they got something going.
So I'm guessing the weather's not bad then if people are working outside.
It's
So
not too bad right now. It's a little gray and dismal, but I mean it's not real cold out right now. We had yesterday was a weird day. We got rain and snow and like blustery wind. Strange day.
I can't close the window on that, unfortunately.
No, you have a very clear picture, Mark. You got a
Very.
good picture. I don't know how clear I am. I'm looking at me. It's very blurry because I'm in the far room, but you got a very clear picture.
Oh, it's not. I wouldn't say it's that blurry.
No, good. Elvis.
I know. Oh, there, Sean is here. There we go.
Oh, good.
Well,
Hey, Sean.
Hi, I need to know that this is happening. He sends me a message saying, "Am I joining you?"
I did tell you. I didn't
No, you
remind
didn't.
you. I didn't remind you today, but I'm sure I told you
No,
after
you
I spoke.
didn't.
After I spoke with Jim, we discussed it on what, Tuesday or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
No,
we did.
yeah, not with
I'm
me.
sure I messaged you about it. Sean. Sure of
No, you
it.
Sean,
didn't.
this is
All
a
right.
standing invitation.
It doesn't matter. You're here anyway, so you didn't miss much. We were just complaining about notifications on mobiles and
Yeah,
distracting reading. So
and construction behind my house.
yeah. Talk amongst yourselves.
Good boy, Elvis. Good boy.
Yeah, all they need to hear it is next door, and those dogs will be off.
Oh, yeah. He's good to have a dog around when you're in a house, for security purposes, right? He's muted. Are you muted, Mark?
Yes, I'm muted because he won't stop, and I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's like. I bet if I look, it's nothing. What are you doing, Elvis? No. He's looking like completely outraged. So I'm guessing, mate. I don't think it's because someone is. It wouldn't be awful if someone is actually out there.
It's that cat that's walking around.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
So, how are you doing, Sean? Good.
Okay, I'm just waking up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, good morning then, Sean.
What?
Good morning then.
Yeah.
So you've been on the night shift, have you?
No, it's just every day is like this.
Hmm. I don't know. It must be hard but every day is the same though. So you have a routine. It's not like every day is out of sync and different.
It's different times. It's different everything. Like I could be snoozing at 3 a.m. one day and wide awake at 3 a.m. the next.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah. Well, chaps. So, James,
yes, sir.
what have you been reading this week?
Let's see. Today, I actually started an Ed McBain just last night, and he's always good. Ed McBain is always good, and it's just a short one, so it won't take me long. Uh, Before that, I read a Louis L'Amour. It took me half a day to read this one. And Louis L'Amour's, he's always a very satisfying read. Even the worst Louis L'Amour books, I mean, you get some enjoyment out of them. And this is one of the last few I had to get for my collection. I think I've got them all except for maybe even like 4 or 5 now, and then I'll have everything he wrote. So
Wow.
I found this about a month or so ago in a book haul. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
What's the name of it? I can only see the kilo. What's the thing above?
By Louis L'Amour.
Okay, so it's kilo.
Yeah,
What's the title?
that's the character's name. And it's a formulaic western, but I mean he gives people what they want, and it's always a good read. So I enjoyed that. I tore through that, and then before that I read an Amos Walker novel, Don't Look for Me. Crappy covers. I mean, these books I have. I don't know where they are now. There's a few of them here, but they've got the stock artwork, which is just garbage. I don't know why they make covers with this crap on it. And it's not a good looking book, but it's Amos Walker, Lauren D'Esteban. I enjoy them a lot. So that was a good book. But yeah, that's it. And then I think I mean, not a whole heck of a lot I've been reading, but that's it the last few days anyway.
You've been enjoying it though.
Oh, always. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
It's been fun.
I guess somebody's been saying his name 3 times in the mirror somewhere. Steve, I start every day with a quick 12K run. I bet you do.
How you doing, Steve?
Uh,
I swim 20 laps in our neighborhood pool. I wish.
Louis L'Amour and Lauren Esselman, surefire good reading.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't go wrong with them. Like I said, even the worst Louis L'Amour novel is just enjoyable. A lot of fun.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And what about you, Sean? What have you been reading? If you've had the opportunity to.
Yeah, a little bit. I finished the Mary Roberts Reinhardt Circular Staircase,
Uh huh.
which I'd not read this one before, so it was quite good. It was a bit convoluted, but she pulls it all together at the end. I like the characters. Little old lady, almost like you can almost see it as uh, because she's called the American. Um, what's the
Agatha
Agatha.
British?
Christie.
Agatha Christie, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I wonder if she sort of took Miss Marple from this little old lady,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
because this is 1908, and I think that
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure that predates Agatha Christie, Miss Marple, I think.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it does.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finally caught up on this for March. So we're 300 pages in now. I think
oh, oh.
300
Well,
pages.
that's interesting then, Sean.
Yes,
Considering the list I sent you.
and we'll be talking about that translator as well.
Yeah.
And then I started rereading this just
Oh
this
yeah.
afternoon. I just in the introduction. So that's
Nice.
it.
Good old King Solomon's Mines, eh? So yeah.
I like what it says here at the introduction, where it says um, Henry Rider Haggard was an imbecile. This was the firm view of his father, a
Hmm.
Norfolk squire and farmer, who called his son a dunderhead, too stupid for an expensive education, and fit only to be a greengrocer.
Very harsh. Very harsh. I hope he lived to see his success.
Don't know. It
Um,
doesn't say.
mm. Well, I finished something this week, and Jim knows about it, I suppose, because we were talking about it. That's when we discussed the live. But I finished a book called Extinction by Douglas Preston, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it came out last year. It was probably not the kind of thing I maybe normally would have picked up, but I don't know. I'd been reading a book about the evolution of early human types and things, and then I'd read that Dance of the Tiger, which I really enjoyed. And then, when they suggested other things, there was this book Extinction. I thought, I'll give it a go, and it was all about, maybe it sounds familiar, a company bringing bringing back extinct species in a theme park, kind of, or a nature park, and it all goes wrong. But I really enjoyed it. It
Hmm.
was fun, very fast paced, very cinematic, and yeah, just a really quick, fun, easy read. So that was good. And of course, because of that, and because of our discussion, Jim, I did pick up, and I'm halfway through now. Relic by Preston and Child, which is also very good, also
Yeah.
very brutal and violent and cinematic and fast paced, and
Nice.
yeah, it's good fun. They're good fun actually. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely pleased with that. And then apart from that, I am also reading this still, Cochrane the Dauntless: The Life and Adventures of Thomas Cochrane, for my Patreon, which I'm also enjoying. He's one of the main inspirations for Jack Aubrey in the Aubrey Maturin series by Patrick O'Brien. I'm reading a book on the South Seas, or Sea People it's called, about Polynesia. I'm still enjoying that. And lastly, I started this week as well, this one, which is really charming, Mozart's Starling. And it's all about Mozart's pet starling that he had for a couple of years during the productive parts of his life. And I guess she's some kind of ornithologist or something like that. And she actually takes a starling as a baby and raises it as well, and to understand the connection and stuff. And it's just really really good. Of course, I had no idea how loathed starlings are in North America as an invasive species, though. So yeah, it's
So Morton, he actually had a starling. This is based on like a true.
yeah. He had a starling. He got it from a pet shop. He took it home. It wasn't long after I think they'd lost one of their children, and he'd been attracted to it because he was out and about and he heard someone whistling something he'd written, but something that shouldn't have been known yet, right? So there's still a mystery about how the bird knew it, and he was like, "This is really bizarre." And he wrote down in his notebook what the bird was whistling, and compared it to what he had written, and it's almost exactly the same, and he just became charmed by it and took it home. Yeah. I mean, it's quite funny. Early on, she says, because his father was such a dominant figure in his life, when his father died, he didn't attend the funeral. He just kind of stayed in Vienna. But when the bird died, he had a full-on funeral. He composed a little piece for it. He composed a poem for it. He invited all his friends, and they had a full-on funeral for the starling. Yeah. So,
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's very good, very interesting book. But I do feel a bit it's a bit harsh, what you can legally do to starlings, in America, given that they have no protection at all. Like you're legally allowed to,
They are everywhere. They're invasive, as you said.
Yeah. It got me thinking though, when she talks about invasive species and things like that, and I was thinking, it's all very well all these people complaining about starlings being an invasive species, but all modern Americans and Canadians are invasive species, aren't they?
Well, I mean, up to a certain point, and then they're basically, part of the landscape.
Yeah, but I mean, technically,
Everybody is, though.
Your roots are European, and you were an invasive species.
You could say that about everybody, though, Mark. Really, if you go back far enough.
Some are cuckoos.
Yes, it's true. Yeah. I mean, after all, we were invasive species that pushed out the Neanderthals and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but anyway, we've got a few comments here, so let's go through that. Hello, Millie. Oh, don't worry, don't apologize. Jenny apparently is working. Don't believe her. She says she's listening while she's working. So
hi, Jenny.
Steve says 2/3 of American adults don't believe there were any pre-human hominids, just magic performed in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
Hi, Mick. Thank you for your comment earlier as well. I appreciate that.
Hey, Mick.
Farah's here. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, Farah.
And maybe someone needs to change the name of her channel to Starling Reads if she likes them so much. So, But I've really been enjoying it. Speaking of birds, though, I have to say, since the winter kind of finished, I'm suddenly getting more and more birds. Throughout the whole winter, I was getting only blue tits, probably because it was very very cold outside and I wasn't wearing my t-shirt. But
either that or a lot of conservatives around.
Yeah,
British conservatives.
But up bum.
So I was only getting blue tits and great tits, right? These are bird names, my North American followers. Please don't think I'm being rude. Suddenly I'm seeing all sorts. I'm seeing really all sorts. And a dear friend of mine put me onto this app from Cornell University, and it's great because you can, I can sit out there and I push record, and it starts to identify all the birds singing, and then it highlights. When you play it back, it highlights the bird that's making the call. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
There was a good picture the one time here when Cameron was prime minister, and it was all page of all the tits, and then he was the colossal tit.
Yeah, I seem to remember that actually. Yeah. But no, it's wonderful. It's quite a chorus out there because it's my first spring living here, so it's quite amazing really on an evening. Just
You should set up a bird feeder.
I have one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, if you saw if you saw the trailer I did at the beginning.
Oh, I did one. I'm sorry, I did one. Yeah.
The last section is
You've
taken.
got it set on your porch there, right?
Well, I have one. I'm not too embarrassed to show it because it looks a bit better now. We cleared it out today, but I have one on the table there.
Okay.
Which they use, and then I don't know if you can see it. Roughly where my finger is, there's a black blob. Can you see that?
Yeah, just barely.
In the trees there, that one
Yep.
has a camera on it. So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So you're gonna have to post some of those videos.
Yeah, well, I put some on. Oh no, I put it on my private. I put it on my private Instagram yesterday. Yeah, I didn't put it on Book Time with Elvis. So, yeah, but it's fun. I have to say, some of them are quite funny. There was one the other day that flew on there, and it was like pecking around, peck, and then it literally went on the camera as well. So it was like, hello. So, yeah, dear.
That's pretty cool.
I've
got a few bird watching books around here somewhere. I used to be into that years and years ago. I mean, it's a lovely hobby to get into.
Well, I sit here even with my
this
is why I'm like, what's that over there?
That's Mark's excuse for believing.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, nothing to do with the nubile 26-year-old models that happen to live in the compound next door. That's right. Yeah, no. But the ones that get me, I absolutely love watching them. Is the woodpeckers? Yeah, they're very funny to see the woodpeckers, and I thought they tended to be quite not solitary, but I didn't think you'd see often them grouped together. But I can sometimes see 3, in just different trees, boom, 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 over there, and it's like and they kind of almost answer each other. It's great. Sounds like bird time with Elvis today.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, we like looking out our windows. I told you there's houses back there, but there's also trees that line in between the houses and the apartment. And we watch the birds all the time. We see hawks out here. Actually, the other day, I guess it was maybe a month ago, my wife said, oh, look, there's a hawk out there. And it's sitting on the branch, and it's kind of looking in at us. Mm. And it actually swooped down and hit the window. It was like attacking us.
Yeah.
It was looking at my wife, and it swooped down and it hit the window like it was trying to grab something up, which was kind of.
They had for like the last 2 months. This hawk in some village in England has been attacking, and bad luck, Jim, been attacking middle-aged bald men.
Oh, shiny! It's a shiny.
Yeah, literally all over the place. Yeah, men in their 50s, 60s, and
really
all bald. Yeah, and coming along and. There were men there with bleeding heads going, I got hit by the hawk.
Oh, that's funny.
In the end, someone caught it. So
yeah.
Steve, the prophet of cheer. Mark, if long-range climate data is right, your country is going to get charbroiled this summer, as is the UK.
Oh boy.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, but. As I said, it tends to be at least a little bit cooler up here than it is when you go further down. So hopefully it won't be too bad. But I wouldn't be surprised. The last couple of summers were a little bit milder than they have been. So maybe
you have an AC unit though, Mark?
I don't. But as I said, I don't think I need one. It tends to be quite breezy all the time. And I'm very lucky that this part out the front here, and I imagine it will probably get colder with the house opposite. I hope, unless it starts reflecting, stuff. But like when it snows and there's always some place where the snow never melts because the sun doesn't get there enough. It's like that out the back there.
Yeah.
It's back. It's actually the front. I got it flipped around the wrong way because I didn't want, as I said to you before we came on, too many windows looking into the other house there. It's better to have it looking to the village. So
you could open up, like you have multiple windows, or like you could open up your windows and get a nice cross breeze coming.
Yeah. I've got obviously the window right beside me here.
Yeah.
Another one just there. You can see the handle.
Yeah.
And there's a window in the roof up there, in the room up there.
There you go.
There, and then a couple more around there. Yeah, I've got about 5 in this room, I think.
Yeah.
So.
See, we get no cross breeze because all our windows are on the one side. But I was in the end department once when they were working on it, and the worker said, "Hey, come in and see the work I've done." He did an excellent job, but they have windows on three corners because they're on the end unit, so they have it on the end and each end and the side, so they get a incredible cross breeze in that apartment. Made a huge difference, and we get none of that. So we get we got to get the AC unit in the window to keep it cool in here in the summertime.
When I lived in Hong Kong, I think it was a similar situation with regards to not having windows on, different sides. But we had every flat had a gate on the door, and then you would just open the main door, and then the gate obviously would, the air could come through the gate, and of course with everybody having it open, which they did there, the airflow wasn't too bad. Although actually most of us had air conditioning anyway, and I don't think I used it particularly that much. But Steve, on a recent walk, a big Cooper's hawk was seriously sizing up my little Frida.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
I can believe it. You do get some birds. We have this thing in Europe called, what is it called? I don't know if you have it. You probably might have it in North America. It's like an eagle owl. And they're big, and they can take like chihuahuas and stuff from people's gardens and whatnot. Cats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I'm sure they could just fly little Frida away if they had a large enough wingspan. Just snatch her up.
I feel sorry for anything that thinks Frida is food. Don't know who would be feistier, you or her. Crossbreeds won't help much if it's 45 degrees Celsius. So I'm taking it, Steve. America's getting away with a really nice summer, are they, this year, or what? Is everything going to be hunky-dory over there? It's just Europe that's suffering, or what? Hey, howdy, Randy.
Hey,
Ray.
Randy.
Hello.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Good to see you.
So yeah, and are you a Twitcher, Sean? You like looking at tits?
I'm not. I'm not around anywhere. They were just noisy in Bedford, but it was sort of that was it. You couldn't see anything. There was a tree across the street, but I can't see a tree anywhere around here.
You
any birds?
And you hear them though? Do you hear the gulls? Do you hear seagulls?
Yes, seagulls. Yeah, they're just rats with wings. That's all.
Yeah, my granny didn't like those seagulls. I brought a seagull home once. It was injured. I had it under my coat, and I brought it home. She almost lost it, man. Get that thing out of here, filthy animal.
Yeah, Randy Ray's doomed as well. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, they're used to it down there, I imagine.
Better to be seen than viewed. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. We're after the views, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah. So you hear the seagulls at least, okay?
Yeah.
But Bedford was on the news this week, though, Sean. I don't know if you heard it.
No.
Getting a new theme park.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, the nurses told me yesterday, and they said Universal Studios, and go, oh, so they're going to start filming there, and it's like, no, it's going to be a theme park, and I go, oh, yeah, who cares?
Yeah, it's just going to be the Universal Studios theme park.
I'm glad I'm out of there. Then that's all I can say is I'm glad I'm out of there.
You're in a place called Bedford, Sean?
I was.
Oh, okay. Like, where are you now? Just generally.
Now he's just in bed.
I'm up in the northeast, just north of Whitby.
Okay. Oh, I see. Bedford, Nova Scotia. You're talking about when you were over here. You lived over here in Bedford?
No, Bedford in the UK.
Okay.
The original Bedford.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Did you ever watch Some Mothers Do Have 'Em?
Oh, on occasion, back in the day.
All the outside scenes were filmed in Bedford.
Okay. That's going back a ways.
Yeah.
See, yeah, we get we get all the British shows on like PBS and all the like the VHF channels, and CBC too, like Channel 5. That put a lot of British shows on there, so we got
And
to see them.
the train station is mentioned in Sherlock Holmes as well. It's just like a small station and nothing happens there, basically.
Oh, cool.
A town near me gets mentioned in Blind Detective. Carados?
Max
Okay.
Carados.
Max Carados, yeah.
Yeah.
He mentions Pardubice, which is one of the big cities about, I don't know, 45 minutes away, something like that.
Oh,
Here in-
also, has anybody seen Lovejoy?
Oh, yeah.
The very first episode, he's hauled in for stealing a bunch of stuff, or allegedly stealing stuff from a house near Bedford.
Again, going way back in the 80s. I remember that show.
Hey,
I used to like it.
New as I can get.
Used to be a good show, Lovejoy. It used to be Sunday night viewing.
Yeah.
Where are we? So, Greg's here. Hi, howdy, folks.
Hello.
And Jenny, we're currently 17, 18 degrees Celsius here. It's not natural. Damn this global warming. Yeah.
That's what it says it is outside, but it's taken a while to get in here. It's still nippy inside. Like my feet are cold at times. So
Well, we had a couple of really nice days, and I thought, oh, good, the warm weather's finally here. And then it got cold again. And like I was telling Mark, I mean, yesterday was just like a wintry, blustery day. And what are we here now? 39 degrees Fahrenheit. I got it set for Fahrenheit. So, it's still a little chilly out there.
Yeah, my family was down at the beach on Wednesday.
Oh,
in the UK, yeah. So
you guys, I mean, you guys are blooming. All the trees are blooming out in the UK. We haven't seen any blooms on our trees yet.
yeah, even here it's tiny buds, but yeah, they all look like still wooden kind of.
Yeah, here too. Yeah.
The grass is changing at least, though. We're getting some green, some really nice green coming through. So
that's gonna be why I'm feeling so bad. Is the allergies really hit me bad in the spring since COVID.
Oh yeah.
Minnie's laughing. Amy says it snowed here in Ottawa this week.
Oh boy, you're in Ottawa, Amy.
And Bob the Bob, it's taps off weather, as we say in Scotland. I'm assuming that means tops off. And someone says everything is in bloom here in Ohio.
Oh boy, yeah, not here yet.
No, I mean we'll get there. I look forward to it. It'll be nice when it comes because it snowed actually on Monday here. Yeah, didn't settle thankfully, but it was the kind of horrible wind, flowing the flurries and stuff around. Yeah, it was pretty grim. But,
it's nice to be tucked in at home with a good book and a hot coffee.
Well, that's it. A bit of Preston and Child, eh?
Yeah. Yep.
They're calling for snow here. At least they were somewhere like -4 or -5 at some point this coming week. I thought it was, but yeah, I don't know if it will be or not.
Yeah. Millie, here in Wales, it's 19 degrees Celsius. Yeah, well, there we go.
Yeah, it's saying it's 17 out there now, but it's definitely not that inside.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's 7 here in the Eagle Mountains of the Czech Republic. So, yeah, it's like the weather discussion panel today, isn't it? two minutes on books and now on the weather.
I picked this up the other day at the thrift store by Michael Ondaatje, or Christopher Ondaatje. It revisits Burton's travels through a journey in the footsteps of Captain Sir Richard Francis Burton, and it's just a beautiful big book. just full of pictures and yeah, just awesome. I was so happy to find that. It was like $3.
Nice coffee table piece, that. Eh?
Yeah. Yeah, there's books you want to read and books you want to peruse, and this is just a nice book to peruse, put on the coffee table and look through every now and then.
Yeah.
Lots of pictures. I'm sure it's much different now than Richard, Burton's time, but interesting book.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of those people redoing people's trips and stuff like that. Because that's what, like, there's that one of the Arctic one or something, isn't there? That you had, or somebody had mentioned.
Oh yeah. It's coming out. I think Ariane pointed us on it, but I did it in a video. Yeah. Something ice, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm never a fan of those. Really, the people. I just want the original one.
I don't know. I mean, like Michael Palin in Erebus, he kind of does some of it while he writes about the history of it. I don't know. Sometimes it gets you in the, they feel like they can kind of get somehow in the frame of mind of being able to write about it when they're kind of experiencing it, I think. Depends. So you only want to read the original one, so you don't want to read anyone who's following in their footsteps.
Most of the time, no. I just feel that it's just a gimmick to write a book. That's what a lot of them I feel that are doing. But
I think it would be fascinating to do something like that. If you had the money and the time just to retrace somebody's footsteps like that from history, I think that would be fascinating. That would be amazing.
Yeah, to do it, yeah, but to read somebody else do it,
I don't know. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem.
No,
with
I think it's kind of cool.
I have a problem. I just prefer.
No, but I mean,
I don't really care about it too much.
But I think if someone's right, I mean, I think of it as a nice way, a good way to be able to write about the travels of somebody, to actually follow. Like, there's a really nice book. I forget what it's called. I think it's something like Blue Horizons or something. To Boldly Go, where Captain Cook has gone before. It was by that Tony Horowitz, is it? He died a few years ago, unfortunately. He wrote Confederates in the Attic, and he wrote A Voyage Long and Strange, and this. You don't know? I don't know what I'm talking about. But he went around following in Captain Cook's footsteps.
No, sorry.
Am I cutting out, Jim, or are you cutting out?
Well, I don't know if it's me or you guys, but you guys are cutting out for me. It could be my signal.
Did you hear what I said, Sean, or did it cut out? So it must be Jim then, I guess. Yeah, you've gone very blurry, Jim.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Yeah, I don't mind reading somebody's travels, and then they happen to be somewhere, and then they talk about how that it was at that time and the way it is now, but the concerted following one person. Yeah, it just doesn't do much.
It's funny. Like Richard Francis Burton did his traveling with Speak, and they went through dysentery. They got attacked by the natives, and he got the spear through the cheek and stuff. And then like 2-3 years later, somebody else did the same track through the same trip he did. Nothing happened to them whatsoever. It's just weird. It's just chance. It's luck of the draw. And they had nothing but problems, initially through that initial trip that they had, and then somebody else takes it. And I don't know what the hell he was talking about. So it's just interesting to get their different takes on that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I suppose sometimes these people are following in the footsteps of others anyway.
Yeah.
Because they hear about it somewhere and they think, oh, okay, let's see. Yeah.
What a time to live that would have been, though.
Yeah.
The age of exploration.
The age of exploration. Yeah. Yeah. No, it sure would have been. Jenny, given where I am in Scotland, no thanks. I don't want to see that, Bob. That's the tops off comment, I think. And Millie has two pigeons, Stanley and Iris, that come and nest in our bay leaf tree. So cute. Ah. I think she's meaning they're wood pigeons probably rather than the ones you see around the town. I'm
Oh,
guessing, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, I that's why I'm really enjoying all these naval books I've been reading because it's a little bit of exploration combined with, of course, the excitement of the swashbuckling naval adventure. And it's just incredible. Yeah, the things they do. This Cochrane, he really is. He's like a hornblower and an Aubrey and whoever else all rolled into one. With his land expeditions and everything.
They were a whole different breed of people, honestly.
Definitely.
Like, could you imagine something like that happening nowadays? People don't want to leave their freaking home,
Yeah.
in front of their computers.
Yeah.
They just say, "Oh no, I couldn't be bothered," kind of thing. But people just back then, boy, just amazing what they went through, the hardships. And I think of like Lewis and Clark. I've got the abbreviated journals of Lewis and Clark in a book, and just to just pull up roots and just travel across this unknown country, and you don't know what you're going to run into, and the hardships that were involved, that just boggles my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they did it.
They did. And the years involved in some of these things as well. It's like, on the ships as well. It's like, oh yeah, they were gone for 3 years straight. And you think, yeah,
Yeah,
3 years straight on a ship, pretty much.
yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, how they can do that. So, but, Sean, I mean, I guess you were intrepid. You picked up sticks, trekked across the Atlantic the other way, the other direction, to
Yeah.
go and explore Bedfordshire.
Well, I didn't aim to be in Bedfordshire or aim to be in Yorkshire either. So
Where did you originally want to be, or did you not have any much plan about that?
uh, I didn't really have a plan. It was sort of to get a job at a bookshop. That was my plan, and I didn't really care where,
Uh-huh,
and that
uh-huh.
didn't happen. So
Yeah,
When you were younger, you said you were an archaeologist. You were in Egypt,
yeah,
right, Sean?
yeah. I visited Egypt,
with Howard
and
Carter back in the day.
I was in Jordan for most of the time,
That's
doing
amazing.
there.
Yeah,
Well, it's going to make a Jordan joke, but I'm not going to. Sorry. Yeah,
we can guess,
who
Mark.
Jordan is, don't you, Sean? Or
Jordan.
yeah. Oh, yeah. She's not called Jordan anymore. She goes by her real name, Katie Price.
Name's vaguely familiar. I don't
She was
know.
like a glamour model. She used to model on Page Three and stuff. And when you said you were in Jordan most of the time, I was going to crack a joke, but that would be very specific to people my age or a little bit older who remember her back in the mid 90s, late 90s. So yeah,
Well, that one felt like a lead balloon, Mark.
yeah, it really did. It really did.
Well, it was the early '90s I was there, so
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And did you like it though?
Jordan. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I enjoyed it. I wanted to go back, and I had a job to go back to, and I was accepted in the university there and everything, but I couldn't get back.
Oh boy.
So my life would have been very different, I think, if I would
Yeah.
have gone back.
Yeah. But much
Points
hotter.
points of impact. Yeah. Little. What did the one writer call them? Fulcrum points or something like that in your life that just set it off on a whole different tangent. I think we all have those.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would have been working at university over there, would it?
Well, no, I it was the American Center for Oriental Research. I would have been just sort of the um, person who cleaned up, but at least it would have given me a place to live and some money, and then I would have been able to go to the university, which was just down the hill and across the highway.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
And I was accepted in there for Arabic language and archaeology.
Wow. Mhm.
Well, see, nowadays, somebody who found themselves over here and they're in that situation, you just start up a Kickstarter or something like that, and they get themselves funded to go over there, and that's one good thing the internet did, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it couldn't work out because I wanted to get actually some OSAP, the Ontario, whatever it was
Oh,
called, the for university to
yeah,
get
I
started and get over there, but they wouldn't do it.
I used that for my animation course. I had to apply for OSAP. I ended up not going the whole 3 years. I wish I did, but I only went for the first year.
So
But
it's like
yeah,
a kind of funding, is it?
yeah, it's Ontario Student Assistance Program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine that though, Sean. I'm trying to imagine you with one of those Yasser Arafat kind of things on and wandering
Well,
around.
I wore one when I was there, and when three of us, there were two Americans with us, and me in an old Toyota, driving around northern Jordan, and I was sitting in the back most of the time, but then they'd look in and they'd look at me, scruffy face, and the keffiyeh on, and they'd go, "Oh yeah, yeah, Yasser Arafat," and then you know get us through the checkpoints. So I moved up in front, and they didn't even do much. They just sort of let us go through because
Move
they
you
thought it
through.
was funny.
Well, at least you weren't wearing a pith helmet and jodhpurs. That would not be a good visual. That would for anyone.
Dr. Standfast, I presume. Yeah, although the funny thing is I could see you as that as well, actually, Sean. I don't know why I could see that on the pith hat and the kind of khaki
Khaki outfit and the jodhpurs, and yeah.
being carried by in a sedan chair or whatever by a load of very strong natives.
Well, that's the way to do archaeology. You got to sit back with a gin and tonic, being under an awning, and then having the being fanned, and then you just
Yeah.
you tell them what to do,
Yeah.
where to dig.
That's it, isn't it? That's the funny thing, isn't it? When all these people are saying, "I dug, this thing, and I did this, and I did that," and actually, you didn't do anything.
Well, it's the same as rich people say they built a house.
Yeah,
They did
well,
not build a house.
that's true. As I say, yeah, I built this house. Well, yes, no, I didn't, but yeah. Have you seen that? It's terrible, really, when you look back on it. I think it's a Burmese woman in Imperial Day carrying literally this European man on her back, like in
No.
a chair. Oh, I wonder if I can find it.
Oh my
It's
God.
terrible. Yeah, there we go.
Some British colonial literally on a Middle Eastern woman's back.
Yeah, just,
What?
I can bring up the picture. It's terrible. So bad. Share screen. Yeah. Can we see it?
Oh, you must be hearing the dogs here.
Don't know. There we go.
Oh my God.
Is
That's
that terrible?
That's ridiculous.
I'm sure it's fake, though.
Oh,
I
it's
can't
gotta be.
imagine. I can't imagine. Elvis.
Or do you
I
look
can't imagine
at
she'd really
as he's providing money for her to feed her family?
They just give her the money. Just give her the money.
It
I
probably
don't
wouldn't
know
take it.
exactly.
It wouldn't take it.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
I
I'm
had
just saying that there are different ways to look at it.
Well, I had a similar
Nope.
experience in China because we went to visit some place, and I can't remember, we were going to go somewhere, and we stopped. Of course, they had the rickshaw drivers, and for a joke, I wasn't going to use it. For a joke, I went up to them, and they started laughing because they thought they were going to have to run along, pulling me up this hill thing with the rickshaw, and in the end, we just had a photo take because they were like really small as well, like next to me and stuff. And I just thought, oh my goodness. They were like, but 3 of us could get in it and you could pull us along. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's a bit hot, though. A bit hot, but, so.
That's funny. No wonder people are so pissed off at the West.
Yeah. Alan's here. Hi, Alan. Evening to you. And Jenny says she writes kids' books now. I guess, I don't know, does she mean the woman in the picture? Maybe the
yeah.
No, I think she means Katie Price, aka Jordan. So, yeah. Dear, oh dear. Yeah, probably. I end up getting quite a few dislikes on these lives because I'm pretty sure we say things that certain people just don't like. Yeah. So,
yeah,
not very correct all the time, but what can you do?
Well.
Can't police ourselves, can we?
No.
What do they expect? I mean, you've only got to look at this lineup and be like, well, there's probably going to be something said wrong at some point in this conversation. So,
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, it's the same. You see 3 people that are woke or something like that are clearly woke or say that they're woke. There's going to be something they're going to say that's going to be offensive to me. So.
Yeah, you can't please everybody. No point in trying.
Yeah,
you just got to be yourself. Yep.
No, you can't. So, yeah. So, any upcoming reads?
Well,
bring it back to books somehow, I suppose.
I mean, I don't have an upcoming read, but I mean, I'll be doing Sean's Desert Island Books on Sunday, and I've been, oh my God, trying to choose 8 books, and I went back and forth. Finally, I just said, okay, to hell with it, man. I'm going with these 8, and I finally I texted Sean and I said, okay, these are the 8, and I texted him so I can't change my mind again, but I still want to change my mind. It's a difficult thing to do.
I was going to text back to say you can change 1 or 2 until the end, but I thought maybe better not.
I still might. Yeah, and I'm sticking to books that I own. Like it's not like I'm not going to pull out a book from one I don't have and say this is what I want to take. I'm going to stick to ones I own. And so it'll be fun. That'll be interesting, I think.
I'm a bit nervous about your selection though, Jim.
Why?
Well, because, I know you like vintage paperbacks.
Yeah.
And the problem with them is they're so short and flimsy. I'm thinking you'd have read all your 8 books in your first day on the island.
Well, yeah, no, I see. I thought about this too, and I think should I just take books that I enjoy, like vintage paperbacks? But I said no. I mean, you're on a desert island. You want to take something that's substantial, but then you want to balance it. So I started doing all complete volumes, complete of this and complete of that. And I said, no, even that's not fair. You want to balance it out. So have a couple that are big, compendium omnibus volumes, and then have others that maybe balance it out a little bit. But it's difficult. I didn't think it would be that difficult to do.
I mean, the thing is, I'm sure if Sean asked me back and he said, do you want to come on again? I'd be like, yeah, because I don't think I'd have the same books as I had last time.
It would change. It would change. It would be a totally different books if you were to do it again. Because it depends on mood or what you happen to be, reading at the time or where your interest lies. Your interests change. Everything changes, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, he should try that. He should invite you back again. And this is Mark on Desert Island Reads Round 2.
Round 2, yeah.
Round 2.
He's managed to escape briefly and raid his library for another 8 books. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking because there's some people here that have BookTube channels, Sean, who you could have on maybe they're not aware of it, Alan from Alan's Reads here maybe would be interested in being a guest. Alan, let us know if you'd like to be a guest on Sean's Desert Island Books. Greg, Ghost Readers in the Sky, you might be interested in that. I can recommend it, actually. Has Randy Ray been on?
No, I did ask him. I sent a message.
All right, so Randy Ray should go on.
I've sent messages to a lot of people, so people know about it. So I'm not chasing anybody down anymore.
Has Steve Donahue been on it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, and then we flipped it, and he did me. He did
That's
my.
right. That's right.
So.
Maybe Mick. Maybe you'd like to go on it. It's good fun. I recommend it. I think that's all. I think everybody else has been on it. Although Summer's not been on it.
No.
No, I mean I understand. It's tough. For some people don't like live. So Wood Pigeon.
You could go like the vintage paperback. Like there's a lot of people who like a Grammaticus Books, the Book Graveyard, the sci-fi guy. I forget the name of his channel. You might have had him on maybe, but what the hell is his name? Hey,
Sean D. Stanford.
No, the guy with the beard, white beard and hair and glasses.
Don't know.
The name of his channel's escaping me right now, but you could ask him to come on.
You literally described Sean, the guy with the white hair, the beard, and the glasses. I'm like,
there's so many.
There's a certain sci-fi type. But there you go.
I'm going to look him up.
How do they get in touch with you, Sean? Alan's Reads. I'll do it.
Yeah, my email is definitely in the videos of the Desert Island Books. My email address.
Oh yeah. So Alan, head to Sean's channel, go to one of the Desert Island Books videos, and his email address is there. Send him an email, and he'll have you on. It's good fun. It's a live show on Sundays, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
I still don't know my schedule. Liminal Spaces, maybe. Is that it? The channel? Liminal Spaces? No.
The one I'm asking about? No. Yeah. Sorry, I got a slow signal here. It is Vintage SF. The Vintage SF guy.
With dinosaurs. Okay.
He was on Eaves, but he knows the sci-fi stuff. So his channel's Vintage SF, and I thought you might have talked to him before, Sean, but maybe not. I think it was another sci-fi guy that you talk to every now and then. But anyway, there's all kinds out there. You could send an email to, and there's so many different interests out there for people, not just classic or whatever. Like go the vintage paperback.
I'm getting to a point though where I'm not going to chase people down anymore. If they know or they subscribe to me, they know about it, and I say get in touch with me if you want to do it. I'm leaving now the onus up to them.
Yeah. Oh, come on. That makes sense.
I don't know if I agree. I think sometimes people are a little bit, they want to actually be physically asked rather than.
Well, I will ask people, but I mean, once I ask them, I'm not asking them again anymore.
No, that I understand. But just if you're just waiting for them to come along, because some people will be like, oh, I don't know if I should, especially if they're a smaller channel, they still might think, oh, I don't want to.
Well, if Sean hadn't have asked me, I probably wouldn't have approached him to come on.
Even though you want to, probably be on it. So
Yeah, and your books, your thing you were doing, Mark. I think books you take in an apocalypse or something like that. I wanted to do that, but then I knew I had this Desert Island Books coming up, so I didn't. I kind of stayed away from that.
Well, it's a bit different criteria. You could give it a go, because I did set myself the thing of only books I've read since I've been doing BookTube.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Would not necessarily be on my Desert Island picks, and then I think no series or 2-volume works, so everything has to be standalone. And I think that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and
Okay.
I didn't take my choice on Desert Island Books either. So,
Okay. Interesting.
but nobody remembers what my choice was for that.
I don't even remember my choice for Desert. Oh,
No, not for Desert Island Books.
yeah,
For
yeah.
your-
You meant for the Apocalypse one. Okay, yeah. I remember. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
good. It was a good
I got a
show.
good memory, but it's short.
Sean's book, Dark Passages, Moments in Transition.
12 copies of my own book, so I can give out to people, and then double or triple the readership of it.
There you go.
That'd be kind of cool, though, wouldn't it, Sean? If it was one of the few things that survived the apocalypse, you could be like, "Oh, wait, I'm the most widely read author in Sector 2712."
Well, like the people have said to me, "Oh, but maybe in 100 years it'll be rediscovered," and people, and I go, "I don't give flying, you know what? If it is, in 100 years, that doesn't do me any good."
Yeah, well, that'd be the typical thing, isn't it? You peg out, and then suddenly someone picks up your book, and it's like, "This is genius! My God, it's going to be worth millions." It's like,
But that's
It's
your
a rare book. It's rare.
that's your legacy, though. That's you being somewhat immortal. Like, I mean,
Well,
you
with
know,
those-
like Charles Dickens. Everybody talks about Charles Dickens and Robert Louis Stevenson, and okay, they don't make any money from their books, but I mean, that's
yeah,
their
but
legacy.
there's
That's
physical books out there of theirs. Like there's not even a dozen of my physical books out there.
well, you have to work on that, Sean.
It's out
Yeah.
of print now, so it's not being printed anymore. So
Could you not re-upload it through like the KDP Amazon thing or something, or republish it through some other?
I could, but I don't like self-published stuff. So I don't for myself. I won't do self-publishing.
But just because it's self-published doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad.
No, but it's
all right,
I-
Sean, I'll publish it for you.
Yeah, but you're not a real publisher. It's like in the sense of publisher. If we got a half a day, then we can go through all the reasons why I don't care for self-publishing.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, but I mean, a lot of writers now are choosing to go that way because that way they don't have to share a percentage of the profits with some publisher, and they've got a say in it from beginning to end, and whatever profits there are, they get. And
if they're established author, that's fine. But the people that are doing it, they're not doing it for those reasons because they can't get a publisher, and there's a billion reasons why publishers aren't taking stuff. But it's the problem is that 99.9999% of self-published stuff is not. That's the problem. It's you type on your keyboard and then you hit publish. Nobody is there to vet it. Nobody is there to edit it. Nobody is there to do stuff, and that's
if they do it correctly, if they go through the channels, they hire a proper editor, they hire a proper cover designer, and if they do that
You will see on the reviews whether it's any good or not. I mean, if you've got a self-published person who's got loads of reviews, then probably it's past the
and the thing is, you pay somebody to tell me whether my book's good. Are they going to tell you it's bad? Editing?
Yes, they will. That's what they're hired for. That's what they're hired for, to read your book and tell you where the problems are. There's different tiers of editors.
My experience with people who have done this. I know a lot of people who have done this on both sides, and it's a very different process that when you're working for a publisher, an editor is beholden to the publisher. But when somebody's paying you about your own book, you will only, or most of them will only grammatically check it, which
no. There's plenty out there you can hire that can read your book and tell you where the problems lie. Okay, this is where it needs work. So you're going to the wrong ones.
Such as
I
you,
have
Jim.
not-
If you want a proofreader, you can pay for that, but there's also editors out there that you can pay for that are going to tell you where your problems lie. You know, there's all kinds of editors out there who'd be more than happy to tear apart your book and tell you where it needs work.
Yeah, and for maybe 10 grand, yes.
Well, I don't know.
Like
I don't know how much it is. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
See,
you're right.
this-
It costs
this-
money.
this because I have known a lot of people in the publishing industry over many years, and editors that have gone and done stuff like that. I've spoken to them, and I've spoken to people who have self-published, and most of the time, unless you're going to that level, like a high level, if you're just giving somebody a couple $1,000s to look at your manuscript, because most people who are publishing their own stuff, they think it's the best thing in the world, and you have an
Yeah.
ego that they have to stroke, and if you don't do that, then they get lambasted in social
Well,
media.
It comes down to the writer, and if they feel their stuff is good enough to go through that process and pay that money to go through. I mean, it comes down to the writer and the author. So,
But I mean, Sean, you are an established author. You have published a book. You have had a book published, rather. So there's no harm in, I think, going down the self-published route now. You've been there. You've done it. You know, it seems like, you know, if you've got more material and stuff in you as well, why kind of cut off a potential revenue stream just because? I mean, are you a publishing snob, Sean?
No, I'm just saying that there's an issue with both systems.
Yeah.
Problem is
Yeah.
that, like, literally, you know, your cat could sit there and type away at stuff, and then you could publish that, and that's the problem. Like, I don't know how many self-published, like, I'm sure there's good self-published books out there, and I have no doubt about that.
there's lots. It's a huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, but there's going to be a lot more that are crap.
But
Yeah.
surely because you have the review system on something like Amazon. I mean, when you see
Amazon review, okay. Now, if you want to say I'm a snob, Amazon reviews are crap. They're absolutely
if you
useless.
get a lot of them, okay, it might not be. I mean, I understand most of the time it's not going to be my cup of tea, but if you get a lot of them, you surely know that it's past certain quality control tests. Otherwise, you'll get, you know, people will complain, won't they? Surely, if someone's literally putting out stuff they're cat typed, you would see it. It would
Well,
be like loads of one stars, and
I've-
people would be like, a load of
I've been
rubbish.
given several books in the past where they've had thousands of reviews and great reviews, and on the first page, and I'm not a great, I do not know grammar inside and out, and I noticed 10 mistakes on the first page.
Yeah, but
And
you
then
see
there's
that
the-
even you see that from Penguin and
I was
established
just
people.
going to say that.
And
Yeah.
I'm not debating that. I'm saying that there's problems on both sides.
Yeah.
But when it
you did
is
make a video on this, Sean,
when it
didn't you?
is- what?
You did make a video on this, didn't you? Like a couple of years ago.
Something about it. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
something. Yeah. But
I
you
remember.
you mentioned too, with if I got other stuff in me, it's like COVID has fried my brain to write any kind of poetry at all. It's
Mhm.
just it's fried my brain. I can't do it.
But it has to be poetry. You haven't got any prose in you.
I there's other stuff that I might wind up doing. Yeah.
Or get someone to write it for you. Just dictate. Be an Edgar Wallace. Just kind of toke on your long, you know, cigarette.
No,
and,
like if I can't write it myself, then I'm not going to be able to dictate it to anyone.
Mhm.
Edgar Rice Burroughs, he narrated into a dictaphone, and then he had his secretary transcribe it.
Mm. I don't know. I'm still.
I don't care, you know, if anybody read it or not. I mean, if it's something I want to write and get out, and I don't care whether it's self-published or some publisher picks it up. This is something. Okay, it's out there. This is my legacy, and whether 10 people read it or 10,000 people read it, you know, at least it's out there.
Well, it's like that little short story I wrote and sent you. You're the only person who's read it.
Oh, the Winnie the Pooh one.
Yeah,
I
it's
loved it.
like, well, you see, I appreciate that, but of course, part of me is still like, is he saying that because he's a friend of mine? And I just never did anything else with it. I know it needed obviously a bit of brushing up.
Oh, for sure. And that wasn't my job to do. It wasn't my job
no.
to criticize it and tear it apart.
No.
I just
The actual,
I thought it had potential.
it had potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the whole premise, and the thing is, it's the perfect time to do something like that because they're all in the public domain now. Those characters you used, and yeah.
So maybe I should find someone to touch it up then. We'll see, because I think it's difficult. When you try it with your own eyes, you do need somebody to do that, don't you? That's why they exist, of course.
Yeah.
Editors and things, so
Yeah, but even like when you go through that and you get a publisher, whether a small publisher, and if nobody wants and people have copies and they don't even read it, or people that's anyway, yeah, it's just.
Well, look how many publishers turned down like classics. Like, what book am I thinking of specifically? Like there's publishers who wouldn't look at a certain book, and then they submit it somewhere else, and that publisher accepts it and becomes a phenomenon.
Oh yeah. That happens. That's what I'm saying. There's that. Like, I'm not coming down on self-publishing as itself. There's a problem with all publishing. But there's the one thing with self-publishing is that it is self-publishing. It's because people do not generally allow or have other people vet it for them. And to do that, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, well, yeah, it will cost money. Yeah, but then I'm sure there's some editors out there right out of school who will be willing to give you a discount on that kind of thing too, and it won't cost as much money. But I think this criticism against self-publishing is not. It's changing. The whole landscape is changing, and it's not looked upon as such a bad thing anymore. Whereas back in the day, self-publishers, they'd all be crap. But it's different now. The whole landscape's changed.
It's the other thing is too. Everybody is self-publishing. So how do you find something that is good out of that? Like, and this is the problem. There's not enough publishers, actual publishers now. So that's getting a really tight. When there was more publishers, there was this. I'm sure there was a time where you had a chance to get something that was published by somebody else, by a publisher. Now it's dwindled to nothing. So you got problems there. You don't have enough of an outlet. Now you got too much of an outlet.
Well, I think part of the problem is the publishers themselves have such agendas these days that it's hard for certain people to even get a look into being published.
That's why people are resorting to self-publishing, because otherwise nobody's going to look at them. Right.
That is a valid reason, but it still doesn't get around the fact that every person is self-publishing. Everybody's doing it, and not everybody has a book in them. And for them to make that, an author cannot make that decision themselves. I don't believe any author can say that themselves. They have to have somebody, like, it has to be viewed by somebody else.
Well, my mum said I'm amazing, so I'm going to choose to believe that. That's my review. I'm going to put that on the blurb. Well, my mum liked it.
My mom loved everything I did, whether it was any good or not. She was my biggest fan. So there's got to be comments on this in the comments.
Well, there aren't actually. I mean, the 16 or so people watching it either just have
well, Steve's not watching anymore then.
No, probably
because he'd be commenting on this.
But I do think it's interesting though, because there are well-known authors who did self-publish. Their didn't Edgar was it Edgar Wallace self-published his first book? Or somebody else did. There quite a few.
Then it was called vanity publishing, or it was by subscription, and they do things by subscription to get away from legal issues of obscenity and things like that as well.
Well, going way back, I mean, Charles Dickens published A Christmas Carol on his own, didn't he? I could be wrong on that, but that doesn't pertain to anything nowadays. But I mean, that was a long time ago. But yeah,
I mean, there's probably loads of self-published booktubers, though, eh? Like tons and tons.
yeah. Well, Troy Tradup, I mean, he published the Garbology, and that was his own kind of publishing house. It wasn't even a publishing house. He just, as far as I know, you know, but he published the Garbology, and he's published other books too. So, and that was vetted. I mean, he edited each and every story that was submitted to him, and he actually got back to me for my story, and went over a couple of things that he was a little unsure about, and he edited a few things in the story itself. So,
Is he an editor?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and a publisher. It was his own publishing house through. Yeah, like he published it through Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon published it, but it was through Troy Tough Times Publishing or something was the name of his little business he had going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about it. I should really look into it. But he's not doing it anymore. But I mean, that's just an example of somebody doing something like he wasn't a professional publisher at all, as far as I know.
Right. And is there going to be a second Garb?
Well, there is, but he's not publishing it. Another booktuber is publishing it with his kind of imprint. And I forget the name of it. I didn't submit to that one, but again, I forget his booktube channel. I'd have to look it up.
I don't know. For me, my story is too good to be garbage.
Well, that's the route you can go. Yeah, sure, there's places you could submit it.
Well, maybe one day, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I do feel I have a lot of different things in me. But I have so much going on internally that I was amazed I got that out. I mean, I knocked that out in a day, did I think?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you sent me like the beginning, and then you knocked it off the rest of the day, and you sent me the whole thing.
It was just amazing for me that I actually could sit down and finish something.
Yeah.
Time I've got so many started short stories and started novels, and I've done nothing.
Me too.
Nothing with them.
And you remember that Western I told you I'd started? I never finished that.
No.
And I want to. I want to get back to it because it's sitting there kind of looking me in the eye, begging to be finished.
Yeah, I have a murder mystery here, and the poor victim is still stuck on one of these hunting watchtowers, decapitated, and nothing much has happened. So,
yeah.
Okay.
I have that novella that I wrote for the Black Orchid contest for the Alfred Hitchcock magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And I submitted it. It didn't win, obviously, but it's a 17,000 word novella, and I want to either expand it into a book or shorten it into a short story. I haven't really decided yet, but that's waiting there to be worked on. So yeah,
Maybe you're missing out on a potential occupation or part-time occupation, Jim, because you are an editor. You are surrounded by booktubers who would probably like an editor to look at their work. You could start your own little publishing house editor thing and publish it like Troy did through Amazon on behalf, and take a small cut, and might be a nice little side business.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I can't say I haven't thought about it.
Yeah,
but editors are you look on editors, and writers don't like editors. It's like this. I do copy editing, but it's kind of almost a self-hate thing. Yeah, right.
But, so you hate yourself.
yeah. There you go.
But I'm gonna probably have to end the stream because I'm gonna have to go outside in a minute with somebody. But we'll adjourn to the green room for cognac and cigars. But I would like to thank everybody who's tuned in. Millie's gone already. Jenny likes self-published books. What? I know.
Oh, thanks,
I like self-published books. They tend to take better as the traditional books. And then And then just become a freelance editor, Jim. I'd trust your judgment. I would as well.
I've thought about it. I've certainly thought about it.
Yeah.
I think I'd be good at it, but again, it would take work, and I'd have to do a little bit more training, I think.
You've got that exposure amongst these, amongst this area. As I say, I'm sure loads of them have. I was having to leave to complete a story. Yeah, well, well, one of them is completed. Kind of just needs polishing, let's say, and commas added. Always had
Do
an
you want
issue
to
with
tell them about it, Mark?
which one?
That story, the one you completed and you sent to me.
The Winnie the Pooh one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll save it for some other day, but I still think about, because I do like the idea of self-publishing, like a little short story collection. Why not? The way I see it, I mean, I'm sure, I've got 2,000 people who subscribe. I'm sure I'd find 10 of them at least who might want to buy it. I don't know. And
I like the idea that you're in control. You're in control of everything. You're in charge of the cover, the title. It's all. When you can send it out, obviously, to an editor to get looked at and see where the problems lie, but you're still the one who's in control. You're not handing it over to some publisher who might not treat it as well as they should.
Well, I mean, I suppose I could sell at least 180 copies, because I could just make it enforced school textbook obligatory obligatory reading every year at school. So yeah, for English. Murder Mystery. Yeah. No, I need to get back to that. Thing is, when I'm in the zone, I really enjoy it, but it doesn't take much to get me out of the zone. That's the problem. The slightest distraction is and especially, I don't know. I'm hoping living here, it'll be more conducive.
Yeah,
I know. I'll be sitting here typing, and then I'll be like, "What is she doing over there? I mean, what is that bird doing over there?"
So, what about you, Sean? Do you have another story in you, or?
I've got a lot of things that I worked on in the past, and some completed, and some gone, and yeah. There's something else that I'm sort of working on now, but it's gonna, if I ever complete it, it's gonna be a long time before I ever complete it. It's not fiction.
Non-fiction.
Yeah.
Bob, I know a guy who self-published 4 volumes in a niche non-fiction subject. The audience was there already, and he can control the book quality, etc., the viewpoint of someone in the hobby. Beats having a third party taking a cut, modifying the book purely for mercantile purposes. Yeah, I think there's something to be said by that. But
yeah, they end up getting like 15% or something. I don't know what it is, but I know the writer doesn't get what he should. But unless you're a blockbuster writer like Michael Connelly or somebody like that, but then you can make movie deals and TV show deals.
Yeah, I wonder if I could sell the rights to my short story to Hollywood. All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a joy, and maybe we'll be back next week. I don't know. It's Good Friday next week, so we shall see. But yeah, thanks everybody. I'm going to end the stream, and we shall see you all shortly. Thanks to my guests Jim and Sean. Do check out Sean's Desert Island Books featuring Jim on Sunday at 10 o'clock European time. The time's the same, I'm guessing. Is it, Sean? 9 p.m. UK, 10 o'clock European time, and I'm guessing around 3 p.m. is it Eastern Standard Time, something like that. So
I'm not sure.
I think when it's 6 hours back. Sorry,
4 p.m.
4.
Okay. 4. Right. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.